All right, I can't see the screen, eh? Yeah, Comrade? Am I live? Okay, but my screen is dark. All right. My fellow Ambazonians, I bring you greetings from your interim government. We know this is a time like no other time. The weight is daring, but our resolve, our determination, our courage, our cause is unshakable. I'd like to bring you good news tonight, that no matter the tides, the spirit of our revolution lives on. No matter the pain of the moment, no matter the number of questions that remain unanswered, one thing is certain: the Ambazonian revolution is alive. The Ambazonian revolution is alive because our revolution is rooted in some fundamental principles. Deeply rooted in fundamental principles that are very deep into our hearts. Principles that have carefully been crafted as a result of the mass suffering of our people. For one simple reason, that we are all condemned, and we continue to be condemned as Ambazonians, as a people, as strangers, in a land where we've said never and never again. Tonight, your interim government would like every Ambazonian to know that while we all look towards Nigeria, exactly what is happening in leaders, what is happening to our president, what is happening to his top aides, one thing is certain: the revolution lives on. They will stay the course, because you know, as know, that wherever your president is, there are some minimum expectations he expects from us. And of course, one of the most important ones is to remember that on the 1st of October 2017, when we said never and never and never again, we all meant it. We said we have moved into a country which is ours. So what are some of these fundamental principles that will make us so confident that the Amazonian is unquenchable? We are into this because collectively we've suffered for too long. We have been deprived of economic possibilities. It explains why across the Amazonian nation, we do not have one single billionaire. We have been deprived. That is why Yaoundé, when it comes down into our country, it will not bring life, it will not bring rubber bullets, it will bring live bullets. Because as you remember, Ben Okalia called us ducks. Their journalist was carefully crafted to call us rats. And if they shoot us with live bullets, we are just animals and we're good for nothing. Fellow Ambazonians, fit to get into the administrative schools. We are not fit to occupy certain positions within their government. And that is why for 56 years, none of your sons or daughters has ever been head of the intelligence country, of its defense, its Ministry of Finance, and we can name the list. It goes on and on and on. And that includes just so that we are not put in a place where we can define the future of Ambazonians. Fellow Ambazonians, we are into this fight because we are on course to serve determination. We are on course to serve rule. Our forebearers did it, and they did it excellently. That is, Dr. John Gufoncha could defeat Dr. Endele in an election in 1959, and there was a peaceful transition. We want to go back into that country where we do not have strong men, but we have strong institutions. We want to get to that country where there is equal opportunity for all. It doesn't matter where you come from. It doesn't matter what you do. The one thing that is certain in that we're all fighting for is that everybody would have an opportunity to make it. And even those that are weak, government institutions will be there to pick them up, to support them, to nurture them, to coach them, to mentor them, so that they become the best of themselves. Fellow Amazonians, we will fight where freedom of speech and the freedoms we all have, including freedom of association, will be respected. We will get a society where liberties will not only be talked on in speeches, they will become a living reality. Fellow Amazonians, you must know that many of our parents, many of our forebears have suffered so many days in jail. So many of them have suffered the brutality of the evil regime in Yaoundé. Some have been raped. Some have literally been locked in bunkers right through the term of their incarceration until they were finally killed by this evil regime. And many, many more have been pushed out into exile. And tonight, while you all wait an answer to one of the most important questions that's been asked in the nation and in all houses, where is our president? Where are cabinet ministers and your aide? The interim government comes to you with very important questions. What have you been doing in the last 13 days? 13 days, not 13 minutes, not 13 hours, 13 days. When your president, His Excellency Sisiku AyukTabe, leadership were kidnapped in Abuja, while they sat down to deliberate the deplorable situation of the thousands and thousands of Amazonians that have been forced out of their homes by this regime. What have you been doing in the last 13 days? I want you to reflect what your president would have been doing. You must remember that before His Excellency Sisiku he was marching in line for liberties and freedom. He was taking the mantle to free his people as an ordinary Amazonian. So yes, our revolution is an unstoppable revolution. It's unstoppable because the core values for which we fight are rooted in truth. We don't need to belabor this point, but this is a moment when every single Amazonian must look into themselves and say, am I playing my part? Am I playing my role? When the president comes, whatever, ever put him into his face and say, Mr. President, stood by you all through your days under captivity. Yes, Amazonians, this is for every one of us to stand up and defend the ideology of this struggle. We have stayed on course, in line with the fundamental ideology of this struggle. Our revolution remains non-violent. It remains a peaceful revolution because we know that cowards declare war on human beings. We know that war is senseless. And that when you declare war on fellow human beings, you will take away the lives of innocent people. So as the interim government of the Amazonian people, we tell our republic tonight, enough. Enough of innocent blood. Enough of innocent blood. Nobody has a right to take away the life of another person. Not in the 21st century. The Amazonian government has been resolute from as far back as February 2017 that we dialogue. No, that is what a majority of Amazonians want. A majority of Amazonians believe in peace. A majority of Amazonians believe that civilized people sit around the table, talk the differences, no matter how deep the differences are, eventually find a solution around it. We know that this marriage is not only illegal, it's been a where, or a union, an illegal union where people have been suppressed for too long. It is not for the Amazonian people to call upon the public to sit around the table so that we can peacefully negotiate the terms of separation. Because we recognize the fact that over 57 years, so much has crisscrossed. There has been cross-pollination, especially economic, that only a dialogue table with neutral negotiators can facilitate both countries to arrive at a resolution that becomes fair to all parties. So the question we ask Yaoundé today is, how many more Amazonians are you going to kill before you know senselessness of Yaoundé? The worn peaceful people, shooting them with live bullets, armless people. How many more days and months will you need to know that the brutality is not working? How many more years would you need to know? Can you not realize that from 1985, when H.E God was caught and locked up, and many more like him, Chief Ayamba, Dr. Fofongala, and the list goes on, Dr. Akwanga, and so on. How many more days, weeks, and months will you know that violence cannot stop the resolve of a people that have been abused, that have been raped, that have been suppressed, and that have been oppressed and killed for over a long period of time? We now have a nation in Nigeria where the leader of our nation and some of our top cabinet ministers and his aides were kidnapped by heavily armed gunmen. We are now counting 13 days. Fellow Amazonians, something is cooking. Something is cooking. The interim government has asked me tonight to tell you that's cooking. We have put the best team to ensure that we get to the bottom of this. But the one thing we want to show you, we've heard from our sources, is that your leaders are resolute. Your leaders are strong. And your leaders remember. Your leaders understand that this is not about them. It's about the Amazonian people. Your leaders understand that when they started this, they did not apply to join the struggle to liberate Amazonia. They did not choose themselves to join this struggle. Your leaders know that this struggle chose them. Unlike His Excellency Sisiku AyukTabe has always told us, the body will betray this struggle. That person would fall under the car will run up there. Fellow Amazonians, this is your message from your presidency tonight. Number one, our legal team has done every powers. They were promised they will see our leaders either Monday or Tuesday. And we extended that again to Wednesday. And as we address you tonight, a legal team has not seen our leaders. Our legal team has not talked to our leaders. The legal team is not only very disappointed in what's cooking, but they, like we had always echoed, do not only know the corridors in Abuja, they have assured the Amazonian people to know that whatever the case, this will end up good. Of course, quite a few Nigerian ambassadors, staff have assured us no country in the world understands the Amazonian people more than Nigeria. And Nigeria knows our history. They know our suffering. And it will be a calamity of history if the government of Nigeria sides with the dictatorial regime of Mr. Paul Biya, now going 35 years. A regime that is rooted on tribalism, on corruption, and I don't need to name the rest. A regime that doesn't understand institutions, it doesn't understand strong men. That will never prevail in Amazonia. We have asked your lawyers to organize a press conference because the Amazonian people want to hear from them. And many of you have contributed so much money, so much money to ensure that the best lawyers are put on this case. That we get to the bottom of this, especially us. The government of Nigeria has neither put out a public statement, neither confirmed that our leaders were arrested or they were kidnapped. But all know, including who not lawyers, when anybody is arrested within a maximum of hours, you have a right to see your lawyer, you have a right to remain silent, you have a right to talk to your family so your family knows exactly where you are. So given the fact that the Nigerian government remains mute, and we remain firm that our leaders were kidnapped, but two, we remain assured that the celebration Yaoundé wanted to have, unfortunately, will never happen because Yaoundé wanted our leaders to be kidnapped illegally, transported to Yaoundé. The parrot, Mr. Chiroma, as the other surrogates in government, failed to look at the fundamental reasons why the Amazonian people have stood up as one man on all TV stations and radio stations and celebrate the fact that they've arrested Amazonian leaders. A message to the Yaoundé and a message to the international community. This struggle is rooted in our marrow. This struggle is based on legality. This is because of a failed process by Britain to allow the founding Cameroons to have independence as it was prescribed by the United Nations. So a failed colonization process led to a recolonization. And tonight I stand as the voice of our interim government to say no government and no country has a right this day and age to still colonize. The Amazonian people remain by the Republic of Cameroon. We remain subjugated by the Republic of Cameroon. We remain seriously oppressed and suppressed. There's a mass genocide taking place in La Republic, in Amazonia, particularly in the southern zone. It's moved from Manu, it's now in Meme. It's now going to move into other zones in the country. And what is sad about this is that the international community is not doing enough. Of course, the interim government has the fact that several meetings have been held on this particular case. The United Nations, AU, the EU, the Commonwealth, France, Britain, the United States, and a number of countries have called upon the government of Mr. Paul Biya to get into genuine dialogue that addresses the root causes of this problem. The Amazonian government said, we are ready for dialogue any day, any time, on neutral territory, supervised by third parties, and preferably the United Nations, of course, with the UK being a party. And what do we get for that? We get a war declared against Amazonia. We get our people massacred like animals. We get of very old people, mothers and fathers, students, children, some of them babies, pregnant women, forced out of their homes and communities. Some of them are displaced refugees within Amazonia, and others in their thousands, now more than 50,000 area. And again, we are not getting a strong word from the international community. What we hear is that our leaders have been abducted. What we hear is that some governments are involved. And what we hear is that lawyers cannot see leaders. We like very respectfully the international community that you can kill the flesh, but you cannot kill the indomitable spirit of freedom in all Amazonians. Let it be known that if a referendum is conducted in Amazonia today, referendum on separation, we are sure, La Republica, we assure the international community that a minimum percentage number of Amazonians will sign up for their own country. We'll be happy to have La Republic to come around as a neighbor and to live peacefully side by side with La Republic will be at least 95%. So to La Republic, why are you scared of dialogue? Why the war? Why are you scared of negotiations? Why the war? Why and why and why? How many more innocent people will be killed? How many more? Upon the international community tonight, we call upon free citizens of the world. We call upon the parliament and senate, lower and upper houses of representative countries. So in the interest of humanity and defend Amazonia. Too many of our people have been killed. We call upon the goodwill of the international community to call for the unconditional release of our leaders. We want to reiterate that ideology of this struggle is non-violence. Our revolution is peaceful. We have remained on that line. We have repeatedly condemned violence in all its forms, irrespective of who has perpetrated that. So tonight, from this platform, the presidency of Amazonia, I rate that Amazonian government condemns violence in all its forms. However, the Amazonians have a right to self-defense. It's a right rooted in international law. No one will, with open eyes, see their parents being brutalized, especially by terrorists. See a whole village being shut down. See people's hands being shot at, and you know you will be the next victim, and you have a stick in your hand and you do not protect. We call upon the security forces of La Republic to come around to pull back. We call upon La Republic to come around to respect the international community and into immediate dialogue. Enough with the killing of innocent people. Enough with the mass murder, particularly taking place in Amazonia. Fellow Amazonians, the interim government sends a message. It says, no matter the pain, it's now 13 days going. Let's remember the price. And that price, we must reinforce Monday ghost towns. We must remember that Monday ghost towns across Amazonia is a tool used by you, our people, all in the homeland, to send a clear message to Yaoundé that you cannot rule a people without their consent, that you do not take others from Yaoundé, that you rule yourself. Fellow Amazonians, the same applies with the question of schools. We cannot belabor that only a witch will send their children in or to school under very terrible security situations. And the question we keep asking is, how can you send children to schools that are now used as military camps? How can you send to schools when girls are raped almost bi-weekly? How can you send children to school when the same school children tell you that security personnel of La Republic of Cameroon are burning down their schools. Of course, the message was sent to the Amazonian people is, please keep your home. Children will go back to school when the fundamental conditions that we continue down have been reached out. That's of the struggle of BBC, and all our leaders are released from their places of captivity, including those of them in bunkers and those being held on very terrible conditions. That La Republic completely demilitarizes so that our country becomes safe, so that our children can learn in a safe environment. It is not right for children's rights to be abused by bringing in a lot of security that prevents the safety required for children to go to school. Fellow Amazonians, the 19th January 2018 makes exactly 365 days. 365 days, not hours, days, when your leader, when my leader, the founder of the Coffin Revolution, Mancho BBC, born in 1984, you do the maths, out with that coffin and said, my people have suffered enough. Fellow Amazonians, because he rose like one man, the sacrificial lamb who said, I'm ready to die for my people. This government chose the traditional route of brutality instead of civility. Rather than calling on Mancho and all the other leaders so that we could negotiate, you remember what was then the demand. Mancho BBC, Senator Penn Terence, Comrade Asa Patrick Dango, and so many of us, including those that have fortunately died in jail, were kidnapped and are still being held under captivity. We ask all of you to observe silence on behalf of every single Amazonian who has died for this struggle. The interim government equally sends messages of condolences to every single family that unfortunately has lost loved ones. It should not have been so. So yes, we know number will be going out this Friday, the 19th of January, to commemorate the first anniversary of the incarceration of Comrade Mancho BBC, as well as to stand up and demand the immediate and unconditional release of our President, His Excellency Sisiku AyukTabe, Partasang, and all our other leaders this Friday. So, for all Amazonians in the diaspora, there are posters lating on your different platforms. I will not be able to name all the venues, but I know that Amazonians in Germany will be protesting in front of the Nigerian embassy in Berlin, and that begins at 10:30 a.m. in the morning. Amazonians in Belgium, in France, in the UK, in Italy, in China, in South Africa, in Nigeria, will all be protesting in front of Nigerian missions, the United Nations, facilities, the Commonwealth, Britain, or any other establishments as will be prescribed by your leaders. Instruction from your interim government is one: when you protest, make sure you carry our messages. Let the world know that your country is rooted in your heart. Let the world see the gruesome images of grandmother shot, children being shot, and whole households being displaced by the brutality of Yaoundé. Let the world see the militarization of our streets. Let the world see the mass suffering of the Amazon. There is a message your leaders have. The message from people is a message of friendship. It's a message of love. And most importantly, a message of peace. So fellow compatriots, fellow Amazonians, all marches in the diaspora be peaceful. The government has sanctioned the marches, and we demand that all the marches be peaceful to characterize the people whom we are. We are civilized people, and we will stay as such. So I want to reiterate that there are two marches. There is the global Amazonian freedom protest marches, and there is the Free His Excellency Sisiku AyukTabe and all our leaders marches. The marches will be happening in different countries, hosted by different country leaders in association with frontline leaders. We call on all our people in all countries to come out. There was a video circulating on our platforms, and that was a video of His Excellency Sisiku AyukTabe a few months backwards. That must have been somewhere around March in 2018. Remember that he became the leader of a revolution only in July 2017. But when listening to that message, you remember he stood up as a soldier of the revolution, demanding the freedom of demanding the freedom of Comrade of BBC, demanding the freedom of Comrade Fontaine, demanding the freedom of Senator Pentarens, and the thousands and thousands of teachers, principals, and students, as well as business people and Amazonian youths that remain captive in La Republic jails. Yes, Comrade Sisiku AyukTabe has always led by example. He has sacrificed so many weeks out of his personal life, going around the world and meet his people, the Amazonian people. Immediately after he was made the leader of our revolution, he literally sacrificed everything, sacrificed even life for the future of our children. First Lady, we give you greetings with your children. Same goes to wives and children of all our people that remain under captivity wherever they are. Let's remember the spirit of our leader. It is a spirit of determination. It is focused that looks at the prize and nothing else. So fellow Amazonians, no matter which camp you belong in, one thing has come out very strong at this hour of our revolution: unity. We have had calls from one leader to another. I have personally spoke to Comrade Dr. Cho Ayaba. We expect that this is a time when all Amazonians must unite as one. When Comrade Ayaba called to give solidarity to the interim government, I welcome that call, knowing fully well that the interim government has been doing everything in its powers to make sure that everybody, every Amazonian plays their part, plays their role, and the frontline leaders join the fore, because we cannot allow one to be divided. So fellow Amazonians, while our leaders remain under captivity, God willing, will be released very soon, for us to come together. For one simple reason: we are looking towards Boya, all of us. So why must we be fighting? Comrade Nyambi, thanks for the call you made this morning. And again, our discussion, Comrade Nyambi, was why must leaders fight amongst themselves? Why must age be against the interim government? Why will SYL or Morris? Why? So the rally call interim government tonight, fellow leaders, fellow members, fellow supporters of the unity is our strength. If we are united, nobody can break us. Nobody, and nobody will make. Let it be known that nobody can stop this revolution. Felonians, the days are running. The days are running. Very soon, it will be February. Again, we have to remember that last year, the leader banned 11 celebrations across Amazonia. Tonight, the interim government is banning any formations by La Republic. Oh, agents, the CPTM that had long been banned from Amazonia. So there will be no 11 February celebrations. The question is, what October? We celebrate the 1st of October because that is the day of independence for the people of Amazonia. That is the day we were supposed to be free. That is the day we were supposed to be allowed to build our institutions, our judiciary, to build our legislature, to build administration. But unfortunately, we were kidnapped, we were recolonized, and it's been one our brothers in Nigeria call Wahala after another. So, buddy, who plans to celebrate a day that abuses us, who plans to celebrate it that is to reflect the day, then makes an announcement that there will be no 11 February celebration in the whole of Amazonia. Fellow Amazonians, I don't need to repeat this again. You know, the president declared that La Republic can no longer conduct elections in Amazonia. A foreign nation can no longer conduct elections in Nigeria, in Amazonia. By that announcement, we call on all Amazonians not to register for elections, not to register for any elections, because this is time for Amazonians to be talking about elections. The only language we Amazonians talk about now is freedom, not elections. It's freedom. Freedom. We have declared soon we'll be starting campaigns. We advise this party. We advise these parties to move those campaigns to the country where this party registered. Precisely. That is in La Republic du Cameroon. This is an official message to the SDF and to the CPDM. Let that body, anybody who tries to get involved with La Republic in massacring our people, genocide, rejecting the SDF from the Amazonian, or even what they call the Anglophone question, La Republic's parliament in Yaoundé, putting thousands and thousands of our people out of their communities, Nigeria's refugees and other cities, and bringing untold suffering to Amazonians. We'd like to send a message to the SDF leadership. The leadership of the interim government has collected every piece of support you've given this struggle. We've collected every single statement. And to echo that declarations that are anti-revolutionary, we've equally taken note of that. We would like to know that history will remember every one of you for the role you played. This is a history, and we repeat, this is the God-ordained hour for our struggle. We call on all to desist from practicing politics all over Amazonia, to members of the CPDM government and party who have still not resigned. We ask upon you to do the right thing today. Your friends, parliamentarians of the SDF stood up in support of the Amazonian people in parliament. They told your president government and your government that today may be the last day. And we've been waiting for that last day to come, because last day means we are gone. We are still waiting. We call upon Amazonians who currently masquerade as CPDM representatives to do the right thing. Do the right thing before it becomes. This is an hour like no other one. So I would like to replay it again. And this time I want to reiterate in Pidgin. My mommy them, my papa them. We know, say, when a heart is a hot plane, especially because when an interim government never give una news, say lawyer them, they don't see when a president, His Excellency AyukTabe, you lieutenant them like Patterson, Dr. Ojong and others. But interim government say make a tell una tonight. Say make no man no fear. Make no man no. Because this will revolution, not true revolution, will not do anything about. We want to take a country so that we will live in peace. We get freedom. We get country where all Peking, even if now poor farmer is Peking, if he be minister, if he be president someday. Say, make we remember, say the reason why they fight there now because we want government with self. So revolution is there alive. Say the of the revolution, the way it strong inside on our heart. No matter what it that bad government one day, they know if it stop we. We wanna know. Say in the 13 days where when our president and leaders then, they still held by government for Nigeria. But the government never even open your mouth for talk why the whole will lead them. But say some big people they say people not worry. Say this thing there so it likely be for good. So we tell all the Amazonian them. Say no matter what the way it happen, make man no shake. When a leader they know they are on the way they tell a big lie. All when a leader them, they still F.R.A. We hear say the day for place where they look at them fine. But we go only know talk on now. Time when lawyer then see I would don't tell big lawyer then where we hire, may they look after the palaver. Since they see them, they must do press conference because all we hear from them. We want equally emphasize the fact that remember, say all Amazonians and are peaceful people them. We don't want trouble at all. So this will revolution, now peaceful revolution. Now why that for inside big grammar we call them non-violent. Now why that if we only talk now goes down and say no not take on people instead of a school make the killer. What do we mean by that? Now say when you there for a house, you go be safe. So the big owner say make gonna be safe. But we had the vex with plenty. Because every time we tell you they say make down we fix the palaver. United don't talk. AU don't talk. EU don't talk. America don't talk. Everyone never come make we the estate declare war for we. And so they don't kill with people. So they don't move to Meme. No time they will come, the whole side they know will go. The only way we will fix stop La Republic. One man. Say when we green say make we do something, make all man do. And no man will do Connie because Connie not fine. When I begin, man chop BBC. Maybe fix him. Where in a size, he use na money. This Friday for front tomorrow they come. It go make 365 1 year. Where this bad occupier, this government for years, they catch them. All we other picking up a very, very long time. We brother them, we papa them, we husband them. So we don't talk for free. Because we don't want to make an announce so. Make when I only the number house every Monday when I go down across Amazonia, I make when I keep on picking their home safe. But all we for diaspora, with the match for Nigerian embassy, they say they live with the match go for UN, for Commonwealth and all the big places there. So when they say, make when I pray for we. Because as put it as so, they don't send assassins. They don't send mercenaries them. They go for one-man country. They kill all when I leader them. They check say they kill when I leader them, this struggle will finish. But we don't tell them, say, even if they kill all leader them, plenty will woke up. Because it's not about leader. Don't suffer too much. You go sing, go your city, get big book, come back and they wear one shoes with you, one clothes, still stay for your house. Now, which kind of life be that? So the tell when I say 11 February when they come, make no man no selector. Number 2, action no go take place on Amazonia at all. Make no man no Greek me the fully. No registration. No Greek me any man campaign inside on our communities. Whether the SDM or CPDM. Because man way campaign and man way he hate for the revolution. Now man way don't support the government for Yaoundé. For kill all we picking all on bury them. For push all we brother their mommy and picking them way they don't run out of their house then. They did for Nigeria, some different people inside the day. So we did beg on tonight from interim government. Say make we just one. Make Amazonia be. Make we not talk different talk. Make we not fight amongst themselves. Because we are enough. When we come tie, we bundle like one man. No man no go feel shaken. Fellow Amazonians, I want to thank you for tonight. I ask you to stop. I ask you to remember that 56 years is not 56 days. I ask you to remember that this revolution is led by so many so successful in life. So you must look deep and say, why do they stand up and sacrifice everything? They're doing this because Amazonians suffered for too long. Amazonians have suffered for too long. And God has said, this is the moment. Let's stand up as one man, one people, fight non-stop, remembering that this is a journey of no return until we move to Boya and lift our black to celebrate the restoration of October that we all collectively did. After that great referendum of the 22nd of September that sent shockwaves across the world, that the Amazonian people are ready to take back their country, and they have taken back their country. Short live the struggle, long live the Federal Republic of Amazonia. Bless you all. I'm going to check on Facebook. Are there any questions and comments that I'll take for the next 10 minutes before we call it off? Thank you for listening. All right. So if you have any questions or comments you would like to put across to the interim, please do that. So I'm going to check on Facebook. Right. I like the messages of unity, messages that the revolution lives on, messages that Amazonia must be, messages that though our leaders still have not been reached, our leaders will be free. Yes, Amazonia must be free. Fellow Amazonians, one thing is certain. We need to go out, all of us, and send a message to the world, a very strong one, that enough is enough. If you have any questions, fellow comrades, those. I have a first question here. What is our leader's situation now? Our intelligence tells us that the government of Nigeria has still not made it possible for the best human in Nigeria, Barrister Falana and his comrade lawyers, to see our leaders. But they told us that our leaders are protected, our leaders are in a safe place, and our leaders are being tried. We will be able to confirm this when the lawyer finally sees our leaders, and we expect the leaders to equally run a press conference as soon as that happens. So thank you very much for your question, Yannick. Yes, we're having messages of unity, and I think that's a key message. Every one of us must. I personally have never understood why we should fight amongst each other. Something that must be rooted in the Amazonian fabric is that of oneness. We should capitalize on our strengths and support each other where we are. That will Amazonian dream run faster and not try to prove us better. This is not the time to prove who's better. When we get to Boya, Parliament will pronounce that political parties can be registered. We can now go to, again, engage politics, repeat what happened in the late 50s. Yes, quite a number of messages. I have a message. I want to sit here and watch Nigeria. We need to come by the embassies. Fellow comrade, I speak from South Africa. We had a good protest at the Nigerian embassy in Pretoria. We were well received by the tourists, and we had a one-on-one talk. Because something that comes from embassy to embassy, especially if I look at the protests that have taken place, including that of the Amazonian Youth Coalition that again will be marching for Mancho, BBC, and a fundraising later on Friday in the US, is that Nigerians understand that only brothers, we are twin brothers. And because we are twin brothers, we don't expect Nigeria to stand on the oppressor. We do not expect Nigeria to side with injustice. As a government, to equally remember that there are many forces at play. You have heard some of them need to be diplomatically correct in every move we make. So I'd like to assure people that the reason why we strictly call for peaceful protests at all Nigerian always remain a Amazonian people. They will always remain a partner economically, politically, and socially. So we have to be very wise with every single move. And you don't like me to break that any further. Thank you very much. Very good concern. We equally want to reiterate to the international community, as I see here, that we need our internet back. Get on, type hashtag bring back our internet. Bring back our internet. It's no secret that Amazonia has not had internet or internet services from the 29th of September. From the 29th of September. Mobile telecommunication companies have sided with the oppressor to significantly limit access. That has not only grounded communication, that has not only oppressors to deal. The terror acts of arson, the brutality continues to murder on our people. It has significantly grounded business and particularly almost killed, the flourishing IT industry in Boya, in Moleko, the best, the first, the #1 forerunner in Africa. So we need and to all of you in the diaspora who will be protesting on Friday, make sure you have a poster, that message. Bring back our internet. Amazonians must know that there are certain things under international law that the Republic must, other Amazonians continue to provide to us. They must provide water, electricity, telephone services, the utilities, until they leave our land. They have to do that. It's rooted in international. So we cannot allow a brutal occupier to continue to rape us and we stay silent. What's important is do on what you do. Remember that we will free Amazonia if we kill fear. So long as you are still, you cannot free Amazonia. But the day you fear, liberty and freedom comes. Knowing fully that if you cannot enjoy the freedom, your children, your children's children, ordinary Amazonian child, boys and family, will in freedom you and me are fighting for today. Thank you very much for that. I'm just checking if I've got a question here from there. Is it true that they were flown from Lake that same time they were abducted and that's why no one has seen them? My brother, Nigeria will have committed a serious internal offense if our leaders were flown in a terrorist country. Because we have no treaty, La République du Cameroon, French Cameroon, has no treaty with Nigeria to move people. So under no law, can Nigeria do it? We equally have asked, did our leaders commit any crime? Because our revolution remains. The government of Nigeria had not said they were arrested. It's after 48 hours, and the government of Nigeria still has not made a statement. We want to believe that they were abducted. We want to believe that they were abducted for good reasons. Whatever those good reasons are, we want to believe that as they are released out of captivity very soon, we will know. Of course, the one thing we know for certain is that they cannot be forced to negotiations at the point of juries. The international community, the government of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, the government of the Republic of Cameroon, that the president had said, there will never be negotiations if Mancho Bibi as a free man is not by his side. If Pen Terence is not by his side, and other leaders of the Amazonian community that have suffered the brutality of James in Yaoundé. We know that they were arrested or rather kidnapped and smoked in Yaoundé. Then, this Minister of Communication, the Chiruma, would have been singing that every day. So we can assure people from assurances with God from our intelligence services that our leaders remain in Abuja. And we're confident that the government in Nigeria will do the right thing. Because as you know, Nelson Mandela was never arrested in Zimbabwe, in Zambia, in the Soviet Union, when he fought to free his people. John Avimbi was not arrested. So it will be a very regrettable one if it's out that the government of Nigeria does otherwise. So we are confident that this will end well. We are confident anybody listening to the interim government night will know that we are not doing this for ourselves. We are doing this for the 8 million Amazonians that continue to suffer the brutality of the government of Yaoundé, that continue to suffer colonization. Tonight, we insist that to be recolonized, we must end organization. We must restore our nation. We must move to Boya so that we can run our country. From Amazonia, I can see that no further question. I ask all tonight on behalf of our interim government to remain prayerful. Prayerful. Pray for our President H.E Sisiku AyukTabe. Pray for those that were kidnapped with him. Pray for Comrade Manchobsi, Senator Penn Terrence, and the hundreds of our brothers, uncles, and fathers that remain in captivity. Pray for our fellow citizens that remain in the camps under terrible conditions in Nigeria. We ask all of you to continue to stand out for this. Continue to stand out for the freedom of Amazonia. Continue to stand out and support our revolution and unity. Continue to support this revolution massively in every way you can. Our refugees need the things you don't need. They need your financial contribution. The lawyers need our financial contributions. If you're an Amazonian lawyer, remember that your strike carries on. Your stay away from court is a strong weapon you continue to show Yaoundé. That in solidarity with the Amazonian people, that you will stay the course right through the end. But at last, during my last presentation, you must ensure that you all perform the role of monitoring and recording all acts of insanity perpetrated against people. You must report that to the Department of Justice in Amazonia. You must report that to the Amazonian Bar Council. We know that no Amazonian born of true Amazonian blood will betray this struggle. Thank you for listening. God bless you. Long live Amazonia.